The owner, Audrey, had suggested that we try to contact the congressman's office in order to see what help we could get from the government in order to, help facilitate work, basically to get more avenues of work, possibly government contracts. We had invited the congressman in order to speak at our American Mold Builders Association, which he graciously agreed to. At that meeting, he gave a fantastic speech about manufacturing. I remember that key point for me was you talking about only 10% of our congressmen actually come from a manufacturing district, and how it was the bigger picture of how things had to be dealt with. And then he said the American Mold Builders has been big on going to Washington, D.C. in order to contact all of our congressmen and see them. And I remember the second largest thing that stuck in my mind was you saying, that's great, but that's not the approach that we wanted to take. That you want to invite your representatives to physically come to your shop, see what you do, have them get to know you personally. So immediately I raised my hands and invited him to come, which he accepted. And then from there, the visit was, I think, eye-opening for all of us about the possibilities of what could be. We had for years not had to market ourselves. People came to us, word of mouth, reputation. We didn't have to fight for work.
This is the most important part of my job. It's easy to get on TV and scream about lack of jobs, and Washington has to do this and Washington has to do that. The advantage that I have is I visited probably 500-600 factories here and in Europe and in Asia. And it gives me the opportunity to see the big picture for manufacturing. I'm probably the only member of Congress who's ever gone to warehousing school, because I want to know how you take that finished product and get it to the floor. And in my work in Congress, probably 3/4 of the time is spent on manufacturing. So we get involved in everything from minerals all the way to export controls. So we get involved deep in the weeds on manufacturing, because this is the best way that I can help my constituents be competitive, get an idea as to opportunities that are out there. And the real joy is because we visit so many factories, we're pretty good at networking, and that makes for a lot of fun.
Every time we had met with the congressman, he invited us to several meet the supplier type events, and he had definitely given me homework, so to speak, every time of things that we needed to do to help ourselves. And not only it was very important, and he's a very important person to us, on election day he was contacting me with ideas, thoughts, following up on things that needed to be done, and giving us homework. And that connection about, a very important day for himself, that he was thinking about ideas and things that we could be doing.
But you can't let minor things like elections get in the way of doing our job.
Yeah, and that to me just showed the merit of the man. I mean,
well, actually, we look for things to do on election days. You have no idea. Everything has always been about jobs. And when you are born and raised in a city that is Rockford, Illinois, which is notorious for leading the nation in unemployment, you realize how important manufacturing is. When I practiced law, I represented a handful of small manufacturers, and I've always been fascinated with how things work. And I figured the best way that I could represent the people of this congressional district is not to show up on TV and scream and yell and point fingers at other people, but to see what the needs of the manufacturers are, because these are the real job creators. And manufacturing, it's become a real passion. People get elected to Congress and will sit there for years and never really know if they've made an impact. And it's just frustrating, because you work so hard on it. But when you work with the manufacturers, and then you try to guide them into different contracts, it's probably the most fulfilling part of my job, because it helps them out, it helps the economy.
He put us in contact with great people, like IMAC and Eric Daniels, the trainer. Like I said, we had tried it 6-7 years ago. A guy charged me $7,000, dropped off a book, dropped off a disc. here you are, John. You don't even know where to begin. We didn't know where to begin. Through Eric's guidance of probably 10 hours a week, he sat at this table with Matt and our main man Wes, and they got through it, you know, with minimal effort. We're very pleased. Now it's up to us to put that to work so that because we are certified, that we can gain extra business, which is the long-term goal, and hopefully provide more jobs.
Shops like this would get orders based upon quality and reputation. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
And it also, at one time, knowledge was discovered. Today it's invented. I mean, this is a whole new world that we're living in, obviously including manufacturing. I spoke at the Nunn-Ferris Metal Institute in North Carolina a few years ago, and I got a list of all the companies, their suppliers, and went down there, and the first thing I said is only about 40% of you guys have websites. So where are you? And you can't rely upon those Thomas books anymore. And so the manufacturers today have to be very articulate and savvy when it comes to communicating in the new media, but also have to do a tremendous amount of personal networking and bump elbows with people, because traditionally the guys have been so busy they don't have time to network, and now you have to make time to network on it. But what we've been doing is trying to heighten Congress awareness of the importance of manufacturing. We have members of our caucus that have never been inside a factory. They don't have to, because they know that the whole economy is tied into manufacturing. And so we spend our time educating fellow members of Congress, increasing the size of that caucus, bringing awareness to the fact that manufacturing is important.
I think we, at this point, through the Congressman's help, through IMEC, it needed to be done. There was, if we could either choose to give up and let the business go away, our business, our family business, or fight. And to answer the question, we asked for help from him. He didn't come for a photo op. He came and gave us solutions or direct homework to do to help. It wasn't just a photo op, it was get in touch with IMEC, get the website up and running, and then we'll continue on with the next stages of help. So yes, it was very nerve-wracking. IMEC is a wonderful organization. They came here and had to pre-interview us and pre-certify that we were even capable of doing it in 5 months. And then from there, it was a lot of hard work. And with Eric Danielson, our trainer, it became quickly, this is a lot of hard work, but we can make it. We can do it if we stick to it. And for me, if anything is taken away from the whole process, is that we asked the congressman for help, and it wasn't a photo op. It was, he came and he gave actual solutions of how he was going to help.
I gave you a hard time, didn't I?
You gave me a hard time. And I can't thank you enough for it, because it was real solutions. It wasn't just a chance for him to say he was here. With IMEC, it was a wonderful experience. I'm not sure we could have accomplished it with anybody else. I'm sure it might be possible, but I know that I could recommend to anybody in our Mold Builders Association that you need to seek these people out. I look at it as that anybody that he networks us with is very valuable.